Hello, hello, hello. Back again for a short moment. I was actually looking through my OBS streaming software and all of that, seeing if I could nest in some more scenes and whatnot and to make it more efficient. And I forgot that I never showed off the actual shit that I was doing in Roblox. So, yeah, I'm going to take a very little small amount of time and show that shit off. It's nowhere near complete. Or anything like that, but I mean, it's something. Keep in mind that 99% of the things that are thrown into this map, excuse me, were handmade and hand coded by myself. Now, you can type into a toolbar or something like that and type some random bitch or some random shit in. Like, let's say you wanted to get a chair. You could type in the chair and get pre-made assets that you can drag into your world for free. But keep in mind, it's a free asset exactly how they design it. If they decide that they want to throw in any type of, program that does something stupid, and you don't catch that script as it's coming in, you are fucked. 'Cause, I mean, throwing it in isn't that much of an issue. Unless they fucking like hard coded like the God script. I'm waiting on Roblox Studio to open up, by the way. But unless they encode it like the God script, they're not gonna really be able to get you unless you launch that. Audio privacy is changing on March 22nd. Please run audio discovery plugin to ensure your audio will continue to function. Uh, Pretty sure this map is fucked. Anyway, so I'm not too terribly perturbed. All right. How do I record studio? It's not really wanting to record. There we go. So here's the map that I worked on. It is a prison map. I mean, I've done obviously more maps than this in the time, but this is the biggest masterpiece. And like I said, the majority of the shit that you see was crafted by hand and all of that. The only exception being the gate, this area here. I just added it on. I mean, I did take the shit apart, delete most of the assets, and then restretch the walls and recode everything. So half of, or I say about three-fourths of the assets is deleted. I just wanted it for the walls. So I took the walls and took a base wall and then I just copied it and restretched it and did all the bullshit for that particular area. That's one of the end game areas, so you're not gonna actually see inside of it or anything. But yeah, that's the thing. This glass, which kind of has an effect as you move under it, and all of that, like all of this is handmade. This is some shit I added in because this is just some shit off the side. All this is a piece of grass stretched across. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna take the time and go part, material, glass, or grass, color, green, and then stretch it apart when I can just click on something small that has a flag and all of that in it. This is the primary asset that I got off the toolbox over here. You just type in what you want. I did grab this. It's a free to use model and all of that. It's got the things and all of that. This is one way that you can escape. You walk up and you press the button. The button, as you're destroying the console, blows up, making this blow up and all of that. And it's a cool effect that I had to code in. This has a bunch of cool effects that it does as you press the button. The doors. All the doors in this are not custom made because I had no fucking idea how to code in working doors. So no door in this facility was made by me, but all the walls and shit were. Everything. The other asset, and I'm trying to go through and give people credit where credit's due before I go into the actual thing, is this. This is just something that I grabbed. This does absolutely nothing but sit there and whirl. This is just the place where the Omicron guards spawn. There, it has armor and all of that that it can grab. And then it goes through this door. Again, this particular door is not made by me. But everything else is. The rest of this shit is basically made by me. These areas. The vibe room here. And the vibe room. Now this is, this vibe room and this vibe room was not made for me. It's kind of like a secret Easter egg place. If you're a VIP on the server, you can go into an area where you can chill with everybody. And I just figured I'd add it. I do have my own vibe room, and I have a hot tub room, and a whole bunch of other shit that I'm gonna eventually, incorporate in this map. Maybe. I might just let it sit as it is. But this design is based off an actual prison. I'm not going to show you the plans or anything like that because, well, yeah, it's literally block for block that prison. I've just added in this spot right here, which is the door. This right here, both of these are the escapes I added on. Then I added on some shit back there. It's like a private staff area. This is this prison. There's supposed to be, in the actual prison, there's an extra that comes out here, and then it goes down into a bigger prison. I just took a portion of it and duplicated it. So this is an actual prison that you are trying to escape. It's like made for like mental health patients and things like that. That's what the actual prison is. It has bedrooms. I'm gonna show you the bottom. This is the free shit. This is the staff room. In the staff room, you have chairs, tables, things like that. You have a counselor that sits in behind there while you undergo therapy and rehabilitation. Did my roof fall? It did fall. You want to know why? Because that shit wasn't fucking anchored. Actually, I don't know where the fuck that shit came from. What is this? Why are you here? And are you important? What are you? You are a wedge. I don't understand. I never put that there, and now it's there. I wonder if somebody has access to this particular map. And, I don't know. I've only ever given one other person access to this map, so if shit is really fucked up, then I know who did it. And I'll just deal with that as it comes. This shit is weird, though. Sometimes it does load in and shit's just fucked up. I don't know. I'm not going to save any changes. I'm going to leave it as it is. Bottom floor, we have the areas where prisoners sleep. This is your, okay, somebody, this is either an old version of this prison or somebody's came in and fucked with my shit. Because there's two fucking toilets there, two TVs there. Shit's all kinds of fucked up. Hang on. Well, I can't spoil the rest of them, so give me a second. I'll do it this way. Open from file. The fuck is this? Open from file. This one. Open. Sorry, this place cannot be loaded. Details. Cannot open place file for red. IO stream. Stream error incident something. Bitch, you better load this shit. This file is currently in use by another studio instance or is read only. It's not, though. Wow. Open from file. Cool. There we go. This is the updated version of that shit. I don't even need this. With the buttons and all that other stuff. It's got the updated. Now it changes when I'm going under it and all of that. You can look at it from the top. It changes as you go around it. Now it's doing the things I wanted to do. All of this is the same. It just wasn't the most updated version. And the roof is still all kinds of fucked up, and I don't know what caused this shit. There's an area there. There's the vibe house in place. I have no fucking idea where that came from. And here you got an area where you have soccer. The soccer ball is kickable. The football is throwable. You can run on the whatchamacallit treadmill. I don't know if you can lift the weights. I've never actually tried it. These are assets I just brought in because I had no fucking idea. Well, I mean, I knew, but I wouldn't want to do the animations for the fucking treadmill and shit. Um, Containers for storage, things like that. I'm trying not to go in too much detail and spoil the map, so there's some areas that I actually can't go into. You got an Among Us poster below event. You got, why is it the double TVs and shit like this? Why is this fucked up? But you're supposed to have just one thing. The shower areas. Rooms like this. You got a sink. All of this. Everything here looks very broken, run down on the regular area. That's what it's designed to look like. And then as you go up to the VIP area, shit looks a lot better. It actually has a lot of time and effort put into it. In here, this is a free area. You got your storage room that has items in it. You got your armory, which has items in it. In there, there's items and things like that. DNA door is not important. This isn't an updated version. Even though it says it's an updated version, it's not. There should be shit in here. DNA door can only be accessed by me, the server owner, by the way. Just kind of a bonus if I ever decide to play my own stuff. There's a training dummy there. I never did remove these from the actual game, so if anybody spawns in and they run into this, they're gonna die instantly. This is what the VIP area has. They have laser doors instead of the Five Nights at Freddy's doors. This is a borrowed asset. Like I said, all doors in the facility are not made by me. The best I could do for a door is some shit like this. That's basically all I got. This shit. This shit is actually a specific wall. If you're a VIP, you can walk through this wall. If you're not, you can't walk through this wall. This wall just kills you if you don't deactivate it by touching the button beforehand. You will just instantaneously die. Spawn point for prisoners. Whole bunch of different buttons and all of that to lock prisoners up or not. As of now, I don't have a time system to make these doors, open whenever, the specific time hits. So I just set the spawn out in the common area, so if there are any type of guard abusing dickheads, they can just reset their character and spawn back outside. This is a doorway. Only VIPs can go through this doorway, but it doesn't really matter to have the doorway. There is an invisible wall that stretches throughout the entire match that hits this blue area right here. And all the way around, all the way out to the edges of the map, and you cannot pass that wall unless you're a VIP. So if you got somewhere like here, and you tried to jump, you would just smack into that particular wall. Same with the stairway. If you're a VIP, you can walk up the stairway through the invisible wall and through these. But if you're not, you can't even touch the stairway. It's coded to only let VIPs go up it. Like everything else in this map, I spent a fuck ton of hours doing that shit. All of these are for the same pass. I haven't actually incorporated the rest of my game passes. But this is just a sort of small fly through of everything I've basically done. I mean, I know I ain't showed you much. I mean, I guess I can show you solitary confinement. I ain't showed you much, but I can't really go in and show you everything without spoiling the secrets of the map. I gotta stick to the solitary confinement. I gotta stick to the regular stuff. Solitary confinement, all you gotta do is press the button, it opens. Guards, prisoners, anybody can open it. In solitary confinement, there's different colors for different things. You got your red team, your blue team, your green team, your yellow team. In the completed version, there's a camera that sits above all of these so you can see what's going on from the control room. I cannot show you the control room though. Very special. And that's essentially what I've done thus far. As I was trying to learn Lua coding and everything like that, I've just done it during or using a creative process of creating a map. It is fully functional as long as you have one guy that's a prisoner and one person that's a guard. As long as you have a guard, you can escape. Obviously, it's a prison escape. Prison escape, you want to knock the guard out, take his key card, then walk out the door without getting caught. It's just that simple. So it's that, but kind of with a twist. And then there's as of now, there's two primary exits. One's that are at the front through the actual gate. So after you get the key card, you have to get to the gate. Then you have to sabotage, in parentheses, the gate to escape. As you're sabotaging the gate, the guards are supposed to get alerted, but sometimes it's janky and it don't. Regardless, the people will hear the explosions and all the other special effects that I put on the door as it's dying. It's very hard not to notice. And then in this particular special area, if you can manage to figure out the secret and escape through that way, you will actually be assigned the role of a criminal, which gives you a gun and a whole bunch of other different things that you can use to take over the prison. And if you can get to a specific point on the map, which I mean, it's kind of obvious where it's at, you can unlock a special ending by doing a special thing. And yeah, map ends. So there is a way to end the round and win as a prisoner. Guards win the round by, obviously ensuring no prisoners escape. When I have a day system, it'll be a lot easier because I can set the time limit for like 10 days for the server and then have everything reset after 10 days go by, for example. Well, that's all in the future. As of now, I figured out that making the map is fine and all, but you have to pay money to advertise your map on the main screen and actually make people play it. Or you gotta go to the social media and tell everybody, hey, play my map. And I'm not about that life. But I mean, I took what I learned from Lua and all of that. And I learned quite a bit. There's probably about maybe a day's worth of coding. Yeah, like a total of like 20 plus hours that I spent coding everything and figuring everything out from scratch. And I say everything's coded from scratch, except for the doors and the treadmill that I pointed out. Everything is coded from scratch. Everything. It's ridiculous how much time and effort that I actually put into this. It's crazy. Not asking anybody to play it because, like I said, as it stands, well, one, you need a prisoner and you need a guard, but two, it's nowhere near complete. I probably have another 100 hours of shit that I need to throw into this map before it's completed. And I really don't feel like doing that shit. So I really don't recommend anybody playing it. And it's kind of only just a template for me to learn coding. But yeah, I figured I would go over it ever so slightly because I did promise it, but I never actually, went in and actually showed anybody what was going on there. I have the prison map, capture the flag map, a Turok style map, a free for all twin tie staper medieval type of map, a vibe room, a vibe hot springs, a vibe outside area, a vibe arena where people can fight at, a start to a small city that I don't want to fucking work on. That shit takes forever to make an actual city in fucking Roblox. That shit's probably never gonna get done, by the way. Don't look forward to any kind of fucking city. I got the parking garage and all of that. On the prison part, I have an armory, a police station, an actual like small secret back area that has jail cells and sort of a semi-story of what happened to some prisoners that escaped. There's a place for regular police officers. There's a place for riot squads and all of that. All of that's designed. Like I have a bunch of shit that I fucking went in and did. Nothing much was happening in my life throughout that time. Well, basically the month of February. So I took the time in the month of February for the most part and did shit. Whole month. Just did shit, learned more coding, all of that. So now I have C++, which I'm certified in. It cost me 65 fucking bucks and a lot of my fucking time learning that shit. I know JavaScript, not like a mastery level like C++, but I do know enough in Java to know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then I have a month's worth of Lewis script. So I can't say I'm advanced or anything like that, but I mean, I can at least do things, you know? There's not going to be any hard walls that stops me from creating a giant robot that goes and fights another giant robot or making any type of games or anything like that. Why did I do it? No fucking idea. I just got bored. I get bored, I go off on these fucking learning adventures and I just learn random ass shit. That's what got me more heavily in psychology and things like that. I said, fuck it, I'm bored, and I ended up just spending, hell, years, actually, now that I think about it, accruing psychology stuff, diploma, certifications, things like that. I have four diplomas and 30 certifications in psychology. Essentially, I have enough time and everything and classes and all of that to have a well, I mean, I'm past an associate's degree now because psychology's been something that I've never really slowed down on, but I have enough to be way beyond an associate's degree if I went and actually did math, language, and all that other bullshit, which I refuse to do. I'm just taking the main courses. And they're like, hey, if you want this shit, you can come do the math and all the other fucking core subjects. And I'm like, go fuck yourselves. One, I'm not paying for that shit. And two, again, go fuck yourselves. I just want to know the shit. I have no intentions of going, that deep into the psychological field than what I already have. I'm all right with knowledge and lectures every once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Nothing big. But anyway, beyond that shit, I just take classes here or there. Like 1 month I got bored and I learned how to lockpick. I got a lockpick set, locks, all that bullshit. And I learned how to pick standard pin, spool pin, serrated pin, um, it's right on the fucking edge of my fucking head. Oh, what the fuck's that shit called? I don't remember. I can pick into cars. I can pick into a lot of shit. And I'm very efficient at it. Yes, I only spent a month in it, but you don't understand how compulsive I get at things. I mean, most people, you try it for like an hour a day. Maybe you look up a tutorial or some shit like that. Like, no, 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 no. I say a month's worth of experience. I mean, like a month in time, a month's worth of time and experience. To where I would spend hours picking the same lock to ensure that I knew everything that was going on with that particular lock. Then I would find another lock that's like that and start picking that shit. Because you want to try two, because sometimes you get a lock that's just jank, or a lock that's very easy to pick, or you get used to it picking the same lock and you know where the sweet spots and all that is. You don't want to learn that lock. You want to learn the picking technique. So you at least need to do two locks at a time of the same brand. And then once I got through the second one, I would switch to a completely different style of lock and I would learn how to pick that until, I could feel the outs and ins, everything that's going on with the lock. Essentially, being able to look inside the lock and see what's going on without ever looking at it. Like you could just feel with your hands, oh, that's a false set. Oh, now it's fully set. It's past the shear point, or oh fuck, I've went too far. I've locked this up. I gotta restart. You can feel the counter rotation and all of that when you're actually pushing things in and it's actually setting properly. You go through the set multiple times, to keep pushing them to make sure it's 100% set. And then you get that satisfying click and everything twists open and everything is like, yeah, hell yeah, shit's good. And you go through all of that bullshit multiple times. And you eventually get very good at it and you learn, oh, well, this has, a security pin in it, or this is using serrated pins. I need to be more careful, or this is using this style, or this is using that style. If you are into that shit, let me tell you one thing, and one thing that is actually important. Don't buy a cheap ass lockpick set like I did the first time. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna get a cheap set and you're going to pick through a couple of locks a couple of times, and then you're going to get to a lock that drives you absolutely crazy. And it's not going to drive you crazy because it's hard to pick. It's going to drive you crazy because it's going to require a lot of pressure or a decent amount of force to push that fucking pin up. Because either it's old or it's rusted or something like that, and you can't, just push it up. This is one thing, picking nice, shiny ass locks. That's not how the world is. Most locks are old, beat up, and decrepit. So I made sure I threw in a rotation of, rusted locks and shit like that. Or weathered locks, I should say. That have been used for years and all of that. Some of them, the shit's been going up and down for so goddamn long for days, they become super loose and very easy to put into place, while other locks become rusted and they become seized and things like that. Thing about it is, if you have a cheap lockpick set and you use it on a pin that don't want to go in, it's just gonna bend or break your fucking pick. In my case, it just fucked up the fucking tip of the lockpick, and then eventually started bending that shit to where it wasn't fucking usable anymore. So then you have to do the, if it's a weathered lock, you have to go in with a rake, like a thick rake, because that little ass shit ain't gonna do anything but hit that shit and fucking bend. You gotta go in with a thick rake, apply some tension, fucking rake the shit out of it to make sure all the pins move fine. And sometimes it takes a while to rake that fucking rust and all of that out of it. And you have to rake the absolute dog shit out of it. I know a lot of people's like, well, what if you just spray WD-40 in that shit? Don't do it. Because if you do manage to get fucking any type of liquid in that shit, you're gonna fucking hydrolock that shit. Most cases it's fine, but I mean, keep in mind you are spraying liquid on something and then sending it up into a hole. You're that unlucky motherfucker that has spool pins or something like that, and you hydrolock that shit, it's never gonna fucking work right. It's never gonna fully set. I didn't even think that shit was possible till it happened one time, and after that, I was like, no more fucking lubricant. I'll just rake the shit out of it till it moves, and then we will go from there. And if it don't move, then we will find other ways to get past that shit. And then, once I got towards the end of doing everything, I found out that they're very simple tools, and you don't even have to know how to actually lockpick. You can just buy a tool that essentially lines it all up for you, or it tells you, you know, where to go and all of that. You just have to match the style of lock that you have. And then you just slide it and click and slide and click and slide and click and slide and click, and the lock opens right up. And I'm like, well, damn, I'm happy that I learned how to do this shit. But I mean, with this tool, you don't even have to know how to, you know, unlock locks. Fuck needing a locksmith. You just buy the tool and you can get that shit open anytime. It does car doors, regular doors, all kinds of fucking locks and shit. Anything that's a common lock, they have one for it. So the quick set that you have on your door, if you have one like that, that shit's extremely vulnerable and easy as fuck to open. People can buy literally this fake ass tooth tool that they slide it into your lock, they push up, and then they twist, and they can open your shit up in seconds. So if your locks are an older style of lock that's been around for a long time, or if your place that you're living at's cheap or old, anybody can break into your shit at any moment. Anytime. So I mean, yes, locking prevents, you know, unwanted guests, but if somebody really wants to steal from you, they're gonna get in, they're gonna get your shit. There's nothing you can really do about it. It's gonna happen. Generally, those types of people aren't around most areas. There's only specific areas where people like that, you know, like to sit around, you know, where the loot and everything else is. They're not going to be out in the country or out in a small ass city, you know, pulling up jobs like that. Unless they're getting like trained or some shit. But you generally ain't going to find them around those areas. But shit happens. Car might be sitting in the driveway one day, gone the next. People are like, well, I got a key fob that has the special little signal in it and all that. Guess what? That signal that your key is giving off can be copied very easily. If they have a cheap one, they have to have your key in their possession to make the copy of the signal. If they have the more expensive one, they can pull that shit out from outside, walk over to your car, confuse your car thinking that your key is actually there. And God help you if you have a push to start fucking car, because you can actually just bypass them without all the signal bullshit. All you need is two paper clips, actually. Yeah, all you need is about the equivalence of two paper clips or the ability to cut and grab two wires and send them to other places. Because all that shit does is the signal goes through a particular relay, which allows the electricity to go through it once it's activated. So you put a paper clip on both sides of the relays, because, well, a paper clip is one of the only things that can actually handle that amount of current draw and all of that without fucking blowing up. or melting or some weird shit. Put a paper clip into that shit. Plus, you can actually hook it into the actual connector sockets. That's another reason why you don't want to use like wire or something. A paper clip is strong. You just shove it into both connectors on both sides. And you can bypass electricity that way, past that relay and all of that. And then you're going to need one for the actual ignition switch itself. And you can just bypass that with another paper clip. Now, some have, all kinds of other bullshit and sensors on it. The more expensive the car is. So that doesn't work for every single car that comes out. But that is a majority of cars. If you don't want to steal the signal and just get in the easy way and not have to fuck through that. Now, keep in mind when it comes to car keys, there aren't a lot of signals that they send back and forth. And I know signal isn't the correct word that you want to use in this particular case, but I'm using it because it's easy for people to understand. There's only a select number of signals that can be sent. So you don't necessarily have to copy that key's particular signal or the chip that's in it, what it's sending. You can get a master list, put it on a device that just switches and sends out different signals, and just keep pressing the button. Send this out, push the button, send this out, push the button, send this out, push the button. If you get the cheaper one, the more expensive one does it automatically, and it just flips through a bunch of signals till it finds ones that works, and then it keeps it, holds it. And then you start that bitch up and go. Again, it's not for every car. All the more expensive cars have additional security and all of that. This is where, your base model, cheap cars like that you can get every day that are mass produced every day that the general population has. So, I mean, locking your door, for one, is a very strong deterrent against that shit. Yes, it can be bypassed in a number of ways, but people are going to be looking suspicious, trying to break into your car, and hopefully somebody will see them. Plus, once they get the door open, if you have your dome light or all of that set, that shit's going to turn on. And hopefully somebody will see that this motherfucker's breaking into your shit before that. If you leave your door open, anybody can walk over, open that shit, close the fucking door. Ain't nobody gonna know because you just opened the door and got in it, you know what I'm saying? Unless they know you. Then you just wait for the light to go off, or you turn the dome light off, or whatever lights they have, and then you get to work. As long as you're fairly quick about what you do, you can generally get in, start a car, do everything you need, and take off without drawing that much suspicion to yourself. Especially if it's like an old car. Hell, if it's a old enough Ford, you can just twist the fucking thing without a key and it'll fucking start. If it's a Chevy, some of those you could just shove a fucking screwdriver into and fucking twist the shit and it would fucking start. So, I mean, it's just interesting how we have all of these different things. We have digital door locks that are operated by Alexa and all that shit now that you could literally take a magnet to and open some of those doors because they're not sealed properly, they're not strong. Take like a neodymium or whatever the fuck kind of a magnet it's called, and you can put that shit on the fucking console to force the actuator to open up, send the signal through, and it'll unlock the door. Or, if you're going all digital, they have the ones that literally sit out there in front of everybody that you can just take a screwdriver in, pop the outside of it, pop that actuator in to send the electricity through, which automatically unlocks your door. Now keep in mind that having Alexa and all of that other stuff might be cool, and having all these digital doors and lights and everything that you can activate. Well, keep in mind that anybody that has access to your Wi Fi, which is very easy to get access to, has access to that shit as well. Unless you have it specifically set to its own hub with its own, unique network, etc., with, super fucking passwords and everything else. It makes it strict as fuck. It has to have its own firewall and all that other bullshit. So you're essentially making a network within your network. So it'd be kind of like a VPN, but not really, because it's not virtual in its own shit. And even still, somebody could probably hack in or just download the app and get your password from your main computer and access your shit. You know what I'm saying? Or they could hack in through your network, get into your phone if you use your phone for all of that, and get into the app that way. There's multiple ways to get through the same hole, if you know what I'm saying. The sad thing is most people that do you wrong, hack into your shit, or anything like that are generally the people you know. Because I mean, what random person, unless you live in an expensive ass house or some shit like that and display that you're wealthy, what random person is going to break into your house, out of all the other people's houses, apartments, whatever you live by? Why would they specifically go into your shit and start stealing your shit? If you're not flaunting your wealth and doing shit like that, why would they? Now, if you live, kind of on the bottom floor or some shit like that, where, a desperate crackhead needing money might come into your shit, it's sort of a different story. But, once you get off the main floors where, you walk out and there's a homeless guy sleeping outside there, or somebody, the Christians and all that come through and they're going to knock on your door first because you're just the closest there, or the Mormons come through or something like that. I mean, you are a hardy target if you're the first thing that anybody sees walking in. You're also one of the safest, though, because if somebody goes directly to your shit and you have a lot of people around you, I mean, people are going to know, hey, you don't live there. I don't know who that person is. Why are they at that person's house? So it's got double edged knife, or a double edged sword, as they say. I never understood the term double edged sword and how they meant it like that, though, because that don't make sense. It would usually be like a double edged, like, dagger or something. It's like, how are you going to actually efficiently wield a double edged sword and actually get shit done, unless I'm picturing something just crazy from what most people picture. Because if you're talking about just a regular sword that has, like a straight sword or anything like that, where both sides are sharp, then people wield double edged swords all the time. I assume that it's like a twin blade or something like that, or something that has a sharp edge coming out of both sides, is what I envision. So as you go to stab somebody, that person can grab the same thing and stab you with. Thus, it being a double edged sword. There's an edge on both sides that you can get stabbed with. As you're stabbing somebody else, they can stab you. Or as you hurt somebody with it, you're going to end up hurting yourself. Because every time you swing, you're going to be cutting yourself as you cut into somebody else. So it's both negatives. But I mean, I don't know. When they say double edged sword, they can mean anything. If it's a regular ass, like, straight sword that has both sides sharpened on it, then I'm like, people wield them bitches all the time. What the fuck? Why is that a saying, You know what I'm saying? The more edges, the more surfaces you can cut somebody. You whop a couple people when that shit gets dull. You flip that bitch over and you go get a couple more. You know what I'm saying? Like shit. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. The whole point of this stream was to show the Roblox map, or at least what I could show without ruining the entire experience of that map. And I did it. I just got done playing some Rocket League and some Dead by Daylight with fucking Macho, and I guess he was just in a troll mood. Played Rocket League between the badass teammates and the just not going for shots and things like that. Rocket League didn't turn out well. Went to Dead by Daylight. He decided he wanted to troll and not actually, play the actual game. So I just got off. Like, if you don't want to play the shit, we ain't gotta play the shit. But at least say something about it. I don't know. Don't matter me. Like I said, I've already played plenty of gamage today. But anyway, thank you anybody coming to the stream, watch the stream, or is going to watch the stream. I am going to go and have some fun. Because why not? It's actually Monday. I probably should have checked my stocks and see if they were still rising. Oh well. What's a day gonna hurt? Tomorrow I'm gonna be crying. I lost $1 million. But no. What's a day gonna hurt? Honestly, I should just set a time in my calendar like 3 months from now to check that shit. Because I have months until the economy recovers. I'm not gonna see a huge influx in money. I mean, it's good because like there was like a 30% increase in one of the stocks that I had. And I thought about selling because it was a hefty chunk of money that came in off of that. But I was like, nah, the potential that this particular stock has and has always had was about like 5 times that hefty chunk that I already have. So I decided I'd take the risk instead of getting um, a hefty chunk of money. I figured I'd wait and see what happens. When I say hefty, let me just. When I say hefty, I mean like, goddamn. I'm talking, I could just pack my shit up and move and buy a fucking house and pay that bitch off. Just cash right there. Boom. Hefty chunk of money type shit. Like, goddamn. So I'm gonna hope everything goes well and that shit builds back up to where I want it to build up. Like I said, I've spent years, any type of, or doing surveys, doing excess online jobs, things like that, and I've been dumping every little bit of money that I have into this particular stock. And at first, before COVID and all of that hit, I was getting, a percent or two increases. And once I got that percent, I would sell. And then that shit would go back down towards the end of the year. And I would buy. And then I would sell. And then I would buy. And I just kept doing that until I built up a fairly hefty, stock. Once I did that, fast forward to now, the shit fucking tanked at one point in time. When I fucking seen that shit fucking tank, instead of getting, everything slightly cheaper, I got things significantly cheaper. like significantly cheaper. We're talking about the difference of, getting a couple of dollars off the top versus getting like, 50 to $100 off the fucking top per stock. So I fucking just threw in. I said, fuck it. I sold all the extra bullshit that's been doing well for me, but they've been incremental, increases. You know, shit drops off $5. I buy, it goes back up to $5. I throw back in. That's per stock, not an actual accumulation of $5. And then that shit dropped all the way the fuck off. And I was like, hell yeah, because everything went like super stupidly low when COVID hit. And I just said, fuck it, buy it all. Buy everything as soon as I can get my hands on it. Go, 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 go. I said, fuck Shiba, whatever the fuck, crypto. Fuck crypto. It's volatile. I don't care what happens with it. This is a better deal. And so far, things have worked out splendidly. Splendidly. However, like I said, I ain't cashed out yet, so the money's not mine. And there is an ask versus buy, so there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to sell all of that stock at one time and recoup all of that, money. So there is that limitation too. Yes, I have a fuck ton of stock, but if I try to drop all of that stock at once and the people just don't want it, then there's nothing I can fucking do. The only thing that scares me and makes me want to take the money now is the new government legislations and all of that shit that they're trying to come out with. Right now, they're just trying to limit crypto, but if they turn their eyes onto the stock market and all of that to prevent people from, well, becoming billionaires overnight, that could fuck me. And I could go from a very big profit to a very, very small profit. That's the only thing that got me sweating a little bit. Them old farts arguing over dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, if it does happen, it's a good experience. I can say at one point in time, I had a lot of fucking money, and money went poof. I'm not too perturbed about it. Money's just money. It's only those that are obsessed with things or narcissistic or anything like that that push past the, well, money buys happiness. You can't have the things that you're happy with if you don't have money. Those types of people, the ones that are obsessed with that shit, those are the ones that have the issues in that particular aspect. Money does not buy happiness. If you had all an infinite amount of money and you could buy whatever the hell you wanted, you wouldn't even know what the fuck you wanted because there's no limitations. You know what I'm saying? If you get every single VR, every single PlayStation, every single game that comes out, guess what? You're going to get tired of the bitches because you can have anything you want. Every single female that you looked at, you can just pay them off and give them whatever the fuck they want to be with you. They'll never actually be with you. They'll be with your fucking money and all of that shit. But they'll act for you. You'll make fake connections with fake friends and everything else, but you'll have money. So if you really think that money can buy you happiness, then by all means. Money is a tool that you can use in some cases to unlock further avenues and all of that. But I mean, a vacation. If you go on vacation, vacations are good because you are deprived of that excess fund throughout the year, which makes vacations fun. If you can go on vacation whenever the fuck you feel like it, guess what? A vacation ain't gonna feel like a vacation. You have to have bad things happening to see the good in things. And people don't understand that, especially the ones that are like, well, you need money to do this. How are you going to live? How are you going to have a house? How are you going to have other things? Ain't nobody saying that they don't need money. They're saying that money isn't that important. And because your obsession and obsessive over things like money and power and narcissism and their greed and everything like that, you can't open your eyes and see the shit that you have good sitting right the fuck in front of you. You're too busy reaching out for shit. Stop reaching for a second and just look around. Say, damn, shit ain't really that bad for me. Now, there's some people at this particular moment in time, obviously, that can't say that shit. But I mean, at one point in time, hopefully they'll get back to that, they'll start, appreciating what they had. The lucky ones that are able to go back to a normal life, have good jobs and all of that. Be able to say, damn, shit fucking sucked for a while there, but I mean, I still got all my shit. Be able to move on, have a new respect for the things that you really didn't care about. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm all for it, but disaster, calamity, diseases, death, destruction, things like that, bad things, or at least things that humans call bad, or deemed bad, have to happen before things humans deemed being good can happen. Because some things that humans deem bad as a society aren't actually bad. They are highly argued and highly debated, but I mean, it's not actually bad. Now, sometimes the way humans use that shit, like marijuana, for example, marijuana by base ain't bad. However, if you were lighting that shit up and inhaling the fucking smoke and everything else into your fucking body, then you're getting on the basis of bad. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're introducing smoke into your fucking body, you're doing something wrong. It's the same for fucking vapes, fucking cigarettes, fucking marijuana. Fuck, you could be cooking a fucking casserole in the oven. If there's smoke coming off of that bitch and you're fucking inhaling that shit into your fucking lungs, it's not helping you in the long run. Don't inhale shit that you ain't supposed to. It's different, the aroma coming off of it if you smell it. You're not standing over that bitch huffing it, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's not the case, like secondhand shit from smoking cigarettes. Unfortunately, the smoke that they inhale into their bodies and then extrude out into the area around you or them, anybody else that's in that fucking room breathing is gonna get the same chemicals and shit into their fucking body. Same with vapes. As you're inhaling that shit and sending it out, the trace amounts of that shit is going to anybody else that breathes that shit's in's fucking body. So keep in mind if you got, kids or people whose immune systems have been compromised or anybody that's sensitive to shit like that, you could easily fucking kill somebody, end somebody's life because you're insensitive and smoking cigarettes around them. The C virus, only thing it's done is raised awareness about sickness and shit like that. Well, guess what? There's other countries that when people get sick, They put on face masks and all that shit. So they're not coughing on people. They do it to be polite. Then you got a place like fucking America where you're sick. It's normal for you to just walk around and be around other people, fucking coughing, snotting, doing all kinds of other bullshit. Especially if you're at a school or in class or some shit. You generally get up, you walk over there, you blow your fucking nose with the fucking tissue or whatever the fuck somebody else hands you. You throw that shit in the trash can and you go back to your seat and you continue to fucking write with all those fucking germs and shit that you've just knotted up around you. Then you continue to write. Then from there, you go to your next class and you touch the doorknob and you touch your locker and you touch a whole bunch of other bullshit on the way in, coughing and sneezing and wheezing. Some people, well, most people go straight to lunch after that. So the lunch trays, all the other food and shit that's laid out, if you touch that shit, like as you're reaching for milk, the next milk that you touch is going to get fucking nasty ass germs and shit on it. And you're gonna spread that shit. And it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And you're sitting at a lunch table, hacking and wheezing and everything else, which is infecting everybody else around you. The motherfuckers sitting around you and shit are getting your snot, fucking germs, and everything else on their food that they're ingesting. Now, you'll get the best, or the highest thing you'll get from an American is cover your mouth when you cough. That's probably the highest thing that you'll hear, and that's about as far as things go. Cover your mouth when you cough. They won't tell you, cough into, the elbow or cough into your sleeve or some shit like that. They'll say, nope, cover your mouth when you cough. They take their hand, they put it right over their fucking mouths. Half the time they leave slots and shit fucking open. So when they are coughing into their fucking hands, they're just pressurizing that shit and making it go out even farther. And then from that shit, coughing in their fucking hands, they continue to eat, fuck around with people, do the shit that fucking humans do, communicate. And everything they fucking touch after that shit gets even more fucking contaminated. And it's just amazing on how dirty, specifically schools, are. When it comes to the workforce and things like that, generally people are assigned to, an area. Now, there are places like in factories where everybody essentially touches the shit as it's going through, and that shit gets fucking nasty as fuck. But I'm not gonna go over that because, well, everybody knows. Once people start getting sick in a fucking factory, it's kind of just like a plague that hits. Everybody catches that shit. Everybody goes through herd like immunity, and then they all go back to fucking work till somebody else eventually catches the sickness. It is what it is when you're working in close quarters with everybody. Generally, your immune system is going to be a little bit higher, but I mean, if it ain't, then fuck, sucks for you. Either way, as I said, I'm out for the day. I just wanted to push this shit over an hour just to make it some sort of seemingly worthwhile content. I don't really care if you listen. I don't really care if you agree with me. I don't even really care if you write a paragraph in the comments at this part saying how wrong I was and how stupid I sound. Do as you want. I'm in a fairly good mood, and I am going to go do some shit with that mood. So, thank you for anybody stopping by, and as always, supplement your lifestyle, and I will see you next time. Peace.